Why do we sometimes wake up ready to conquer the world, only to hit a wall of procrastination the very next day? Why do new goals start with fire but often end in burnout? Motivation feels like magic when it's there, and torture when it's gone. But psychology has a clear answer. Motivation isn't random, it's science. Today, let's decode why we start, why we stop, and how to keep moving forward when motivation disappears. At its core, motivation comes from two sources: extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivation is about outside rewards, money, grades, recognition, or avoiding punishment. Intrinsic motivation comes from within: curiosity, growth, passion, or joy. Both work, but they drive us differently. When you study only for grades, you'll stop the moment the exam is over. But if you study because you love learning, motivation lasts longer. Neuroscience explains this with the brain's reward system. Motivation runs on dopamine, the neurotransmitter of anticipation. When you chase a goal, dopamine rises, giving you energy and focus. But here's the trick. Dopamine isn't released when you achieve the goal. It's released in the pursuit of it. That's why the journey often feels more exciting than the destination. So why do we stop? One big reason is expectation-reward mismatch. If the brain anticipates a big reward but reality doesn't deliver, motivation plummets. This is why people quit diets, jobs, or even relationships. They invested effort expecting joy, but the payoff didn't match the brain's prediction. Another factor is the valley of disappointment. When starting a new habit, like working out, you don't see results immediately. The brain craves quick wins, but growth takes time. This gap between effort and reward drains motivation. Many people give up here, not realizing that progress is building invisibly beneath the surface. Psychologists also talk about self-determination theory, which says motivation thrives when three needs are met: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy means choice. You need to feel in control of your actions. Competence means mastery. You need to feel capable. Relatedness means connection. You need to feel your effort matters to others. Without these, motivation fades. But here's the fascinating part. Motivation isn't about constant fire. It's about systems. Relying on motivation alone is fragile. That's why Olympic athletes don't train only when inspired. They build routines and environments that keep them moving even when motivation dips. In other words, discipline carries you where motivation can't. So how can you hack motivation? Psychology offers a few tools. First, break big goals into smaller milestones. Each small win triggers dopamine, keeping you going. Second, make progress visible. Tracking habits, checking boxes, or marking calendars creates a sense of accomplishment. Third, use what's called temptation bundling. Pair something you need to do with something you enjoy. For example, listen to your favorite podcast only when exercising. And don't underestimate the power of purpose. When tasks connect to your values, they stop feeling like chores. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust, said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Motivation rooted in meaning outlasts everything else. So the science is clear. Motivation is not a mystery, it's a process. It rises, falls, and renews based on biology, psychology, and environment. The key isn't waiting for it. It's creating conditions where it naturally thrives. And here's a challenge. What if instead of asking, "How do I stay motivated?" you asked, "How do I design my life so I don't need motivation to begin with?" If this lit a spark in you, don't let it burn out. Fuel it. Subscribe, like, and join Mind Decode. Because the science of your mind is the strongest motivation you'll ever have.